Time Kembe Wangbo Jambe Tebo Male Jomze Sam Kanje Kebe Zojen Zonga Losan Tabe Shamla Sowa Mime Zebe Dejen Chenres Time Kembe Wangbo Jambe Yang Tebo Male Jomze Kanje Kebe Zojen Lozan Tabe Shamla Sowa De Panden Zave Lama Rimbo Dazo Jiwuran Benden Denjo Kadin Chenbyo Kone Cheso Kuzon Toji Wudu Zendo Panden Zave Lama Rimbo Dazo Ningara Benden Denjo Kadin Chenbyo Kone Cheso Chodan Temo Wudu Zendo Panden Zave Lama Rimbo Dazo Ningara Benden Densho La Gadi Chanjo Ningbin Ba Denbo Yo Masan Jeme Shera Paru Maje Manga Namge Ngogo Sozo Rani Yi Dezon Gave Yum Tanze Lo Dea Ta Gade Bara Samgade Bode Ye So Ha Dea Ta Gade Bara Samgade Bode Dea Ta Gade Bara Samgade Bode So Ha Gere Tongda Jajo Shewa Da Mede Timba Roshi Bezon Sojo Ne Da Yo Sa Shin Be Ye Jo Ji Me Do Da Dage Chujuran Gibe Zonam Jin Dola Benje Sanje Do Bara Sho Soje Jonam La Janjo Bando Dane Jabdo Je Dage Chujuran Gibe Son Dola Benje Sanje Do Bara Sho Soje Jonam La Janjo Bando Dane Jabdo Dage Chujun Jibe Sonam Jien Dola Sanjien Do Bara Jo
Simje Tamje Tocalana Maya, the Sanyo, Bashidi, Tabasha,
Let me remind every one of ourselves to take a moment and cultivate the highest form of motivation. We call it Bodhisattva motivation, or the altruistic motivation, seeking complete enlightenment for the benefit of all other sentient beings. And with that kind of at least contrived bodhicitta motivation, we should participate in this discourse on emptiness or selflessness. So where we left off in this general presentation or discourse on emptiness, so we need to discuss the two truths, conventional truth and ultimate truth. In a sense, they are of the same, what we call nature, but nominally different.
Shiva Deni Gojadi ki Suyana Sukjubale, Muguyana Zamatomai, Muni Zamba Jurshi, Tanya de Churri Jam, Guni Zamba Sumbatar, Chetanji Goyala, Goyana, Gojikadi Karun Gavade, Yana Chik, Yana. Daddy Karun Yugo. You chick Karun Yugo BS. Repeat trouble. He said, this the Yugo Dobatadi Chung. Minimum Dangi Dajudi Truba Shevada, Medabada. 통도 통기가보다고 내가 인데 샤시 심젤레 군조다네 다디 군조레네 다디고 뒤님메바 마에데 군조 또바니디시 또니코나 군조이 미니메준 예베시 시레메다 바켄 시에소비시 근데 시젠나면 신이 된도에 못하디 Dentro de Jewish, the Bameva, the Kunzo di Mujo, the Vata di Then Kunzo di Yavati, then no the Muji, then no di Yavati, Kunzo di Yava, the Muji, Kunzo di Yava leg, then no Mushi Mai, then no leg, Kunzo. You hear Sud this Sudata will so this. Shirtamila Shiva Shadis, Shira Jumbole, Sudomo, Tomani Sudomashi, Tomani Sumaino, she think she, Tumamashi, Ribatella. They saw so long Johnny Sons. But there you that was a Chidang water that is a couple no Jimmy Tojet is a chick. She without say Goji was his chick that is the Ajara. So the money the government in Ashimaris. She bought a medal Nashi. Doja Sheva Mother Goji Baris. Good that they know that because of German, total German, couldn't you go to the ship without Nashiris? But there is a day with the shirt up there, good water, Tono, Woody, Dawson, Sherry Shad, Oman Jubaka, Song Shas, or the mother. Konya Jeme Dorjee de Maris.
No.
Kabum Najimari, Shiva the Medawa Najiris, or this or that.
As Krishna read from the text and explained that the two truths are of the same nature, ngo in Tibetan, but nominally different. So that's what he's trying to explain here. And so when we think of like a phenomena, there are certain phenomena which are completely different from one another, just like a pillar and a vase. Pillar and vase are unrelated to each other. They are different phenomena. Whereas impermanence, mitapa, and production or what is produced, cheba, they are of the same nature, nominally different. Okay. So the two truths are not like a pillar and a vase, unrelated to each other. They are more like impermanence and production or product. They are of the same nature, but nominally different. So as great Indian master Acharya Chandrakirti states in his supplement to the middle way, we call Umajogpa, that every phenomenon has, if you will, two facets. One is the conventional aspect, right, which is the samvritti satya in Sanskrit. The other is the ultimate facet, which is the Paramartha Satya. So every phenomenon, everything that exists has these two aspects. And so every conventional phenomenon is devoid of intrinsic reality or existence, which is the emptiness of that conventional phenomenon. So now I hope it's clear to you that the true truths are of the same nature, just like impermanence and product, but of nominally different.
Kasi jari kasi di gangal ya ringde siya ganga chikwaris. Oti so jawa song so se siya do gongde les gongde kasi diyin diyin dogba jina chikzanya me tadi ba tadi me chikbai ba nyuji shida go tadi ba nyuji shi song shi Ti gomba semza bata sheva na, dini uoche dogba tadi tu sheva shi deya deda dwe do. Dela dini dogba samyang tadi tu iji mewa, shi na chongshin chongsu ne. Teya, tada dini chirang pwe, uoche de kakar ma dini uoche kwa sheva di kanga chikbar da. Tenjuada, Tanda dig, Doda Gonde, Simsabalo, Ina Tenjo, Jigbaris, the English, the what Tadi, the Moji in Nuzi, Kaza, Tadi in the Muji, Doba Jig in the Nuzi, Doba Jigina, Jigina, that, and to do them about the good when you talk to the Chira radio in the Pubato, this Susan Pubato, this Pubeto door as a shower.
No, sir.
She said, Tisha, as I Dobat had the lawyer, don't do Doxadish and study about Tonda, Zuzu, Pumbata Persona, Pubeto is in a Pubatima, the Goji remote, Pumbata lost don't eat the Pubeto. Pubeto lost Pubatri Yomarji, Chewajigari, so this is that.
So as Krishna explained, that in the Unraveling Thought Sutra, Dode Gongtel in Tibetan, which is interpreted things according to Chittamatra school of thought or Shantideva, mind-only school of thought. Mind-only school of thought or Chittamatrins and Prasangika Madhyamikans both agree that the two truths have the same nature, but they are nominally different. With regard to that thesis, Chittamatrins and Prasangika Madhyamikans agree with each other. So as Geshe mentioned, that if the two truths are not of the same nature, then there are four fallacies or faults will accrue. If the two truths are same nominally, not different, then there are other four fallacies will accrue. Okay? In other words, if the two truths are nominally same, for example, when you perceive a vase, then you would also have to perceive its emptiness at the same time. But that doesn't work that way, isn't it? Okay? Because vase and its emptiness are nominally different, so in terms of that thesis, as we said earlier, the two truths are of the same nature, one nature, but nominally different, both Chittamatrins, mind-only school, and Prasangika Madhyamikas agree with that thesis. As Geshe continued to read from the text and explained that the example that's being used is rupa or form, Sukha Tibetan. In the treatises, they talk about 108 topics, if you will, but the form is where we started. Okay? And so both Chittamatrins and Prasangika Madhyamikans claim that the true truths are of the same nature, but they are nominally different. If that were not to be the case, then 8 different fallacies or faults would accrue, okay, as we mentioned before. So if, let's say, the true truths are of different natures, just like a vase and a pillar, right? When you realize the emptiness of a pillar, that really counteracts your grasping at the true existence of a pillar, but it does not counteract your grasping at the true existence of a vase, because vase and a pillar are different natures, right, unrelated. Whereas the true truths are not that. They are more like, as we said, impermanence and a product of the same nature, nominally different. And so when we think of a vase as an example, a form, its emptiness is no different from the form itself, right? We cannot keep the form aside and find its emptiness on somewhere else, isn't it? The form being empty of intrinsic existence is its emptiness, isn't it? At the same time, a form cannot be found apart from its own emptiness somewhere else. So that tells us that a form and its emptiness are of the same nature, but nominally different. So this concept, the Tibetan technical term is Dopathade, which I translate as nominally different. I hope that is capturing that sense there. If not, we are in a problem here. So the true truths are of the same nature, nominally different. And for example, a form or a vase, right? If a vase and its emptiness were to be nominally same, then we would not be able to differentiate between a vase and its emptiness, right? A vase has many qualities or characteristics. A vase we can describe conventionally. It has the brim, then it has the neck, then it's the bulky stomach, then it has the stand bottom part, then it's also impermanent. So what the visible part of the vase is something we can perceive directly, isn't it? But we do not directly perceive its emptiness. Only the Arya beings, the transcendental beings, right? They could directly, non-conceptually perceive emptiness of a vase, but whereas we ordinary people cannot access it directly. But we can access directly what a vase looks like, the bulky thing, whatever that thing is, right? And then there are other qualities of a vase. For example, a vase has a subtle impermanence as its characteristic, which probably we don't perceive it directly either, right? So that's why there's a lot of qualities or characteristics of a vase. They all have to be nominally different, isn't it? If they are all nominally same, then we really can't separate one from the other,
这个要隔离讲嘛，我现在到个没有，老早到也嘛是吧？我现在知道可以我这里的多太的从上，这到那这到多嘛是吧？我真的一就他们的连一我这多太的下过来，说的是有的他的有那么人这么说的。
The point we just made, that is same with any other phenomenon or anything that exists, right? If we can understand the concepts with regard to one particular example, a form or a vase, then pretty much we can, so to speak, graft it onto understand any other example, phenomenon. And as we said before, if a vase or a form and its emptiness were not of the same nature, they're different, then when you, like say, realize emptiness of a form, then that cannot counteract our grasping at the true existence of a vase, because they are different, like a pillar and a vase. So it's from a cognition point of view how we are differentiating a lot of these things, isn't it? Because we cannot, literally, so to speak, take the emptiness of a form from it and say, hey, here it is, right? We cannot do that. But mentally, because a vase and its emptiness appear to cognitions differently, isn't it? So whereas, as we said before, as ordinary people, we can validly and visually and directly perceive a vase. We don't need any extra effort, right? If a vase is there, right, under your nose, you can see it. Whereas to realize, understand the emptiness of vase, we have to make a lot of effort, isn't it? It's not easy. We have to work so hard to be able to conceptualize and understand its emptiness.
What is it? But they don't go to the Puma Demi Tony, Puma Deba, the Tenzin Dorjee is called Remy in or teach the Doma shed the thing shed. Conje, go check about Tade, but that Nushi, Dobachi, or Nushi, Gaden, or the year, or do that to do the shed. Check in the cars, Dobachi in the Puma, they don't. Because Gaza Cousin is a man guy is your Pumade was so machine,
No.
Says a queen diameter. I said, Dobata said, no, you don't go to Dobata this. She couldn't Pumat the nose and a Pumat said, I could lost Pumat Passion. Pumat the nose, Pumat the nose, Passion, the Pumat to the Shamari. Couldn't show the woman to sort of ready. In the lawyer, don't you say the shadows?
So when we say that the true truths are of the same nature, nominally different, all of these are presented from our cognition point of view, that perspective, isn't it? Because for us to be able to understand and realize emptiness of a form or a vase, first we have to identify the object of negation, refute it, isn't it? Once we refute true existence, right, then we are able to understand, realize the emptiness of a form. So emptiness is regarded as a non-affirming negative reality, isn't it? Whereas a vase is not a non-affirming negative reality. A vase is right there under your nose and your eyes can directly see it, So that's why a vase and its emptiness are nominally different, right? And if they are nominally same, then as we said before, by realizing the emptiness of a vase, then we cannot counteract or get rid of our grasping at the true existence of a vase, So this is a very crux of the matter, very important matter, that we want to keep in mind. So that's why they said earlier that if the two truths are not of the same nature, fall four fallacies will come up. And if the two truths are nominally the same, then 4 other sets of fallacies will come up, 8 of them, isn't it? So Geshe only mentioned, right, one each, just to exemplify what kind of fallacies we are talking about.
What is Puma Dianoni? Go Tadi in the Casa Go Tadi in the Jimmy Tina in the Puma Diandon Samati, Puma Dinzin, Minute. Or the Tagatina that in the Dinzin Yamo shadow was in it. There's a bomb so shadow. What it is as the Puma Diandon Chuni Maiba Tower. Puma Diando Gahi Maiba Tower. Sanya Baba Joe, Puma Dinzida, Puma Demi Dogbe, Shirabi, Judah Juwata, Jonathan, she you to us. What is that? Don't she got you what did it? She that is on that in the coin, more chicken, cause the Tade in the Jonshi. Dobaji in the Jonshi. What did you do? What did you do? Doba said, Coracar's Lloyd Doctor Shagora. Moose said, she could choose your easy to carry again. Pumbat the doors and the Pumbat said, could you launch I am what Coraba de no remote? Pumba had Pumbat de no launch I am. What you get shagos?
No. So I think that this would be a little more clarification here. So as Geshe mentioned, this is really crux of the matter. So if the two truths are of different natures, if they were to be of different natures, then the two truths would be unrelated to each other, just like a vase and a pillar, isn't it? So in which case, if we realize emptiness of a vase, then it has nothing to do with, as an antidote to counteract or get rid of grasping at true existence of a form or a vase, because they're totally unrelated things. So which means we will never be able to get rid of grasping at true existence. There is no antidote now, which is not the case. And so what Geshe said right now, I think this is, as I said, clarification, is that when we say that the two truths are of the same nature, we are really looking at, if you will, realities objectively. Okay? Whereas when we say that the two truths are nominally different, now that is posited from the cognition perspective. I hope that's clarified, right? The two truths are of the same nature. That's how they are, if you look at the realities themselves. But the two truths are nominally different, Dokpatha, the Tibetan word, right? This is posited or asserted from cognition point of view, right? From perception point of view.
Oh, this is going because Tade to me, Tonji, Shibata, they look at the Tade Koyame. The Shidi say, was it Tade to me, Tony, Giovanni, she was what is it? So that Tade I met, Tonji, I miss, Goja myself, Tada Dikes de Maris. Then the Tade, Dovata de Maris. The chicks, this Tade Demage Maris, or Drekes and Goja, Dovata de Maris, Drekes and Martishi, Shembari. Tell you, and the tree are your Maris.
So what Geshe read is that the nominally different that we are talking about is not the same as there are these famous, often quoted lines called Tade Tumin Tunshimin. They are not different. They are not of the same kind, and they are all free of elaborations, right? But that's a different one. So some maybe scholars interpret in that way. They said that's not what we're talking about. Here we are talking about difference in terms of nominal difference from cognitive point of view.
어데 당가바 대인 생이는 죽발레스. 자 고도 양다 소유 관이 되 통화서 고서대마 송 쉐왔다. 통화주 바탕이 주의 세면이 동때 고도대미 생이다. 양다 타두주의 세면이 동때 도답이 가서 도답이 생이도 생인데다 샤올라니 질 지단상데세 냠제 적도 마소에 준다 면제기 유주주 탐제를 참나 성예 박박 베세 시다신이 쳔베 이시 르레가 데마니가 직사주 지주다 제발라 마잡베소 되나 대당은 대안되세나 타이 조지 세마 랑일라 타이 조지 세마 소이 니동 그고도 되면 세이 타주지 세마 랑일 타주지 세마 소이 니동 도도 되면 세이 제자르스 군소 되면 세이는 시자 타니고 법안 소를 부당하지 몇 동생 암조 도 거제드가 거기 거주 유가가 비고 선대 말다. 소다 좀 거기서 제자 군소 되면 세이는 시자 타니고 법안 소마다 시바 타니고 품지도 못 소다. 주지 타니 뭐 분명 명답소 이 군소 이 내바 이 타니 내바 군소 바 뇌슈 능주의 니즈미디베슈 동시 고서 돈좀 대배 생이네 법아랑신이 동받다고 소이 돈좀 대바 니룩 타도 돈이 물레에 쉬지 쉬 농수도 니즈 집에 쉬는 도저고 어디 다다다 그런 거도 하나 생일을 해드리지 도와줘 보고서 되어서 상대 타집에 시바 타집에 이동되다 다랑 이동되다 애들 고서 되면 돈다바 타두주의 리베 이동되라 인도 돈도 되면 샤는 지다 되래 샤는 리그레스 다들 상예가 대반이가 무슨 색 드레시다 대신에 안될 십자자고 그랬어 다그 지다 지다 대 십자자고야 시라야 말이다 데려다 타니지 체면이도 되고서 되면 돈도 주지 체면이도 돈 돈도 되면 이스드레라는 주었다.
So I think we're getting all these technicalities here, defining the true truths, right? And in general, one could define conventional truth or reality, samvritti satya, as that which has been found or discovered literally or perceived by a valid cognition of conventionalities, isn't it? There is a valid cognition dealing with conventionalities, and that valid cognition of conventionalities finding something, that whatever that's found is regarded as a conventional reality, okay? Whereas ultimate reality or Paramartha Satya, truth, is that which is found by a valid cognition dealing with ultimate, the ultimate existence, ultimate phenomenon, if you will. Okay. So in general, so those two definitions could help us to be able to differentiate between conventional truth and ultimate truth. The examples of conventional truths are plentiful, right? Everything we experience, perceive through our sensory perceptions, right? Sound, smells, form, whatever, all of those are conventional realities, you know. But where it gets more complicated, if you will, is when we talk about the true truths from the perception of an enlightened being's omniscient wisdom, isn't it? An enlightened being has, we could say, two aspects of omniscience, right? One is the omniscience that sees, usually called conventionalities, and the omniscience that sees the ultimate reality. But every one of these omniscient aspects sees the true truths simultaneously, all at the same time. So this is where we might have to get into nitty-gritty, the differentiations here. But in general, we don't have to complicate it that way, right? So in general, we can say a valid cognition of conventionalities, what it finds is a conventional truth. A valid cognition of Tenzin Dorjee analyzing ultimate nature, what it finds is the ultimate reality. Okay. Yeah.
What did it? Kunzo David saying this, that Kunzo David wanted the carriers and Zuru the carriers. Saying Hija, Tanyeva, Pumba Sotos, that Gonzo Milton, Anjo Koya, Peluria Ganga, that Kunzo David. Pumba Sotos, Pumba, that Kastoya, Ganga shit. Shiba Tanyeva, Pumzu Topasi, Gonzo, that Loganga, the Kunzo David. Geshe Tanye ba pumbe ming da so yis ta pumba ka se ro zhe gang ga kun de ba yis wo Tanye de ba ku de ba lui chu nong zhe de ni ji mi de be shu tong ji yis tong ji ming na da yis ta tong de ba sa ko ngo ni se yi de su li se ne pumba rang yi dong ba de ta tong de ba ri da Pumba Rahi, the Kawa Rahi, the Shotani, Shotele, Niluk Zuganga, Tondo de Maria. That Tondo deba, Niluk Tatus Yorda. Medaba, Dujik, Niluk Dori, Niluk Tatu Marwa. So that you know Niluk Tatu. Tony in the Kaza, Milio shoes, and cook gomni. Quite many going to Tibetan Roger was the Miller Shuni, he said, did it. None did the Nizu Mudibi, because no two showed no Toji is. Good day, Kata. Don't you was not of a Lola? In the court, no other to word the Tibet Sajan Yomara. No other Tribasio. That means the Tibet goes of a lot, good of the log. They don't know me as I got to a lot of the Don't you was the lot, they don't know me as don't you say what no is? I said the Maju lost you. Said the Maju you don't say what did you buy?
No, so. So the Tibetan term Tanye Temba, I think that really means conventional reality truth, right? The Kunzop Temba, which we always translate as conventional truth, then we run into some issue with the meaning, right? I think that need to be translated as a deceptive truth. Conventional truth, deceptive truth mean the same thing. Okay, just a footnote. That's what's mine. So, as we said, the examples of conventional truth or the deceptive truth are plentiful. So, you know, everything that we see, a vase, pillar, form, right? Every sound we hear, right? The smell, all of these are examples of conventional realities, if you will. And including our perceptions, right? All the conceptual thoughts we have, all kinds of consciousnesses we have, all of these are conventional realities, examples of conventional reality, should I say, right? Whereas the ultimate truth example would be, say, the emptiness of intrinsic existence of a vase, of a pillar, any phenomenon, isn't it? That is the ultimate reality. And it's also called miluva, miluva in the sense of non-deceptive. Because when you realize emptiness, right, for your mind, perceiving emptiness, right, there is no disparity between what it appears and how it exists, isn't it? You are seeing exactly the way it appears to exist. So it is undeceptive. It doesn't fool you around, right? It's not going to cheat on you. That's the Tibetan word, miluwa. No cheating here. Okay? Whereas conventional truth of the reality, there is a deceptiveness involved. Things appear to our conventional cognitions as truly existent, intrinsically existent, but they do not exist truly or right inherently. So there's a deception involved in that, isn't it? So there is a disparity, gap between appearance and existence. So therefore, it's called deceptive truth. See, I told you that's a better word than conventional truth. Okay? Whereas that's not the case with the ultimate truth of reality. Ultimate truth means it exists just the way it appears to exist. So when you realize emptiness directly, right, and for your mind, that emptiness appears and it exists exactly how it appears. So it is undeceptive, no cheating, all of that. Yeah.
유제의 영어 뉴스 미세 영스 tenju yanglo ni shiwara shiba da yujinga yanglo ni shiwara rongyu shin shiba de rong sin zhuwa na de ko na de zhuwa de shiba la yanglo ni shigma lo ba yo maris shiba di na ti yanda ko de guris o de da mo tenju da de khasa rongjibe kebare da ko 가자차를 쇼르와 티소자 이 로지바 가서 tenjo 시바로시 마로스고 로지베 로시 초스고로와 와 티샤마디서 티샤고다
랑지베기 ken shebala mother yulia rangshing duba chagoya marya
유 영어쇼다 시바데 차이로 콜리 로바샤도 마르스고라
알레노스
다 유베 유베타서 그래서 지금 가자 주바 바보 토아요 그러나
알레
그래서 그 로바샤도 그러나
로바샤도 no. So what we just talked about, of course, it is from the Prasangika Madhyamikan point of view, right? Prasangika Madhyamikas claim that nothing exists truly or intrinsically, isn't it? For our conventional valid cognition, things appear as truly existent or intrinsically existent, but they don't exist that way. So that's the deceptive truth, isn't it? For our valid cognition, cognizing emptiness of true existence, intrinsic existence, there is no deception involved because, the appearance and the existence are, right, exactly the same, But according to Sevatandika Madhyamikas, the other sub-school of the middle way school, right, things are slightly different. Sevatandika Madhyamikans say that when it comes to what we call perceptions, they're called subtle, right? And so therefore, the perceptions appearing as intrinsically existent, right, to a valid cognition, actually that's how they exist, isn't it? So there is no disparity, right, from their point of view. Perceptions, they appear as intrinsically existent and they believe that's how they exist, right? So that would be ultimate kind of a thing, right? Whereas when it comes to the objective phenomenon, they said then we can easily find examples of deceptive examples, isn't it? For example, the magical creations and things like that. Is that coming clear with? Yeah.
What is it that causes Jugwada, Kisum Bishers, 10 years that causes any using Yoloni Shagris. Look good at the Bayet Jugwale, towards the Manava in the day. Umbo said, almost Shibani, Umbo, she do love on the new Umbo Trudan, so is it? Gaden, Lamani, jigden loba namba sha, che sumba te. Tse ngame yujen yanglo ni da. Shime yu yanglo ni so yeju den la. Ten jigden shingo la te, kunzo la yanglo ni su jeje. Rolu la yangda kunzo mewe. Cher kunzo la yanglo ni su meje do. Ti juzen yang kunzo ba sida nama da chubma do ni su ye miriwe shede. Kunzo yena nama da marwe chawe shero. Tena kunzo be shwe nam tanya zamde ya nizu da nangzi shen du nangye zumba yinshin. Anshin nang jang nangye la chiba kona yinbi, kunzo yinbi. Yu jen kangla yang yanglo nisu minshi do. Teta na anshin teta tanya zamde yang chuna tanya du suzo jiji tseman joba mido di nyana sheja denpa joba la jiji madruwa goya jang sheja zumba joba la jiji chube joba shindu teba she do. Rangjiba minshi lo la tsema na rang kanda tsema suna sheja la madruwa kaba doya jang dene soji gyulas gyugi tsema dam pa gyugi tsema ni nang chube pa yagi lebe tangi chugi tsema nang rang kanda tsema sawe sheja la chugi sheba sheja la chugi shebe 추시에 세마 민교 해도 자데 런지 면제 저가 추시에 될 추바다 세마이 민교가 태조가 될 추바다 세마이 민교 말이지. 그래서 로이는 런지 조나 쳐거라 대 로이는 추바 미쳐거라. 제가 건조로 그거 추바리고 하지. 추바리도 거의 주일 맞으면서 이거 대바리 바바 대로 나르면서 바바 거는 또 도와라. 그래서 런지바가 되게 시고다 유대 최바 최유다 세메시도 유스 런지 메지가 최시는 tema 많이 차서 어디서다 유대라다 유대를 최바다 유대 tema 많이
within the Buddhist schools of thought or tenets, Savatantika Madhyamika school and the schools down below, they said that if a perception or cognition is mistaken with regards to its object, then it cannot be a valid perception. In other words, there is not something that can be mistaken as well as valid, right, with regard to that reference point, right, with me? Whereas Prasangika Madhyamikas say that, we could posit valid cognitions, and how should I say? We could posit examples which are both mistaken and also valid cognitions. Because from Prasangika point of view, that things appear to our perceptions as truly existent, right? And so with regard to that, our perceptions are mistaken, but our perceptions could still perceive the things validly. Let's say a vase appears to our perceptions as truly existent. So with regard to that, our cognition is mistaken, but still we perceive the vase validly, isn't it? So Prasangika say there is no problem, right? The mistakenness and the validity we can find common examples, whereas Savatantika Madhyamikas below said no. If something is mistaken with regards to its object, then we cannot posit that as a valid cognition there. So that kind of differences exist.
오늘 저대기 힘을 때문에 영어 제가 강의냐나 지도자나 책이 주들려봐 책이 주주 말레베 시바 유드 제바 주대는 주대는 때데 주대 힘을 때데 야다 구조다 딜레베 시바 유드 제바 Gaden Shimo Trades, Lobby Guzo Yina. Take to you long, Angut Suje La, Nevada, Rajada, Meseta, Tonga so, Tonga Seva so, Triggy Nana Yevata, Melo the Mikita, Chagbook don't be, said Jasso, Triggy Shina Yevata. You want to live, said June, you want to live a Jew, Trubdagamba. A dancing dana, Menola so by Tedage, Trishi Jebe, Su Young, Rarity Jashi, Zana, so Yela. Because Jashi Zana gay, Anshi, Trube, Yishibata. Mixer Jengas, Tungas, Tunguka, Anshi, Trube, Yisha, so. The Chever Shevdu Yena, Eugene Shiva, Kayitoni, Madobe, Kanza, Gigi, Tiny with 7 me, Young Niso, Do Muni, Pa, Tijin, Shimola Tuede, Eugene and Dabata. Shiva Kanshi, Tony Do Manu, Kanza, Gigi, Tiny with 7 me, Lucius Do Number. He was a 30, you love in a 3 say Rimbata, Sundi Mishita Butan. Sunyan Zebi Shivata Wu. O did that. You didn't hear the side to see what that. She told you, Yandako to Yama, the Jidin year there, Sundi Mishita with the Yandako to show that. That Melona she is that Dimeta Zibata. Love going to shower, did she agree?
No, so. Eugene the Segura, Yanda Kondo, the Lobo going to say Eugene much Yuli Jago again. The young lord, the Eugene
was in you didn't hear the mother, Jida, the Jidas is a Tony mother, on Gina.
No.
In the Lord Tricky, they love a good share.
I don't know.
No Jewish, you had
Yanda. I don't know. So distinctions are made between two types of deceptive truths, if you will. One is called Yangda, which literally means perfect, but I think the correct is the right word. Correct deceptive truth perceptions, and Lokpa, distorted deceptive truth perception. But these distinctions are posited from the mundane perceptions, from worldly perceptions. Jigtenpa, worldly means that those who have not realized emptiness directly, right? Anybody who has not realized emptiness directly are called mundane individuals or worldly people. So from worldly perceptions, we may be able to differentiate, right? That there are two types of deceptive truths. One is a correct deceptive truth perceptions. One is distorted deceptive truth perception. But in reality, actuality, there are no such distinctions, right with me? But from the mundane perspective, there are such distinctions. And example Geshe given is that our visual perception of a form which is correctly perceived as a form, that is a correct deceptive truth perception. Our perception of face in the mirror, reflection of a face in the mirror as a face, is a distorted deceptive truth perception. Is that clear? Yeah.
What do you call that? Yanda go to Jigdin here, the Yanda Oti Hills. Don't you do you manu the hills? Don't you Mado Simjing Kochubato, the Love go to Jia? The mother the Yonda Kunza or the Shagins. Don't they do not? They couldn't look at Majo. Tanya Seme Lobato, Yu Tamsi, Jigdin Shimo Lobata. Today, Samuel Lobato, Mube, 유제단 지대 신고 영다 조라 지대 신고 시베 시바데 타니베 세마 거인라 메샤 비시게 데 코니 로가 모쇼베스 지대베세 로랑가와다 틀라테베 타니베 세마실라 샤오스 데 지고 동이 계자산 동이서 데가 자 하모게 디데를 겨울이 타니베 세마랑가세 어 디레샤그리스 동이도 많이게 동이 하모 디게 You can
say So when we talk about, valid cognitions of conventionalities, in Tibetan, so that is like posited from the point of view of worldly individuals, worldly in the sense who are clueless about emptiness, right? So if you are clueless, anyway, you will never realize emptiness. We know that, right? So from the clueless, worldly perception point of view, so we could make a distinction between correct deceptive truth perceptions and distorted deception truth perceptions. But in actuality, realities, there are no such distinctions, no.
Tenen jide shingo yanda mani shikarzi, tenen jide ranga shikori. Jide shingo de kunzo, chiwa, de shingo de yanda de kunzo yinba, teta shegi. Ti shingo de yanda kunzo ji shidin yeba, yanda ta kunzo yi shidin yeba sheba menos. The yanda kunzo se de yanda yingi kunzo yingi dire shidin maris. So the yanda jide shingo de se yanda de maris. So yanda kunzo se de yomaris. Kunzo loga vichara. What is it?
So the clarification is that when we talk about, the correct deceptive truth perceptions, in general or in actuality, there is no such thing as correct and deceptive truth per se. But from the worldly perception point of view, then there are correct deceptive truth cognitions or perceptions.
There tell you around Tanya Deva, Yanda Bake Milin Shevi, Yanda Bate, Rang Sing Chuba Shubis, Yanda Kuduze, Shiguris, Tigoya Karisa, come to Ome Look Shevati, Rigil de Shevatan, Pakbe Singola de Shevatada, Ton Jawas, Jugbenam Hill Sung Sheros, but the Omagobara Sung Yasedi, the Yanda said. Rigid said, the matter of Jagad, Omagora and say those who are
that. Juda Yanda Gunzo Meb Castember.
Yanda said Yomaris. Jide Shimo, the Yanda Muni Yomaris.
So as we said, in general or in actualities, there are no such things as correct deceptive truth. Because from Prasangika Madhyamika point of view, Yangda, correctness, it really refers to intrinsic existence, right? So nothing exists intrinsically, so therefore there cannot be correct, deceptive truth. And that has been clarified in the Uma Kongpa Rapsal, illustrating the middle way thought or the way. Right?
Jigdin Shingo de Jigdin Shingo de Yanglo Cheber Kelin Sheve Yanda Jigdin Tanila Debe Dembazam Shigo Songbes. Jigdin Shingo Sidu, Mozu Yunza Maja, quite Jigdin Yunza, Demba, the Jansu says you are a hot ticket. Because that Teda Kabula so Yanda was Shana, Teda Rang Sing, Trevor Jog with the woman with Shero. Jide Shimo to the young Cheva Kelly, Yanda, Jide, Tanya, Sema, Never, the Tenzin Dorjee Dharma sama Shigova Sungwe. Tene Jekuba the Kuzi Shibawata. Remote TV say Onju Gutagula Onju Good Zimbata Tade. Tanya Sema Rangawe more young Tabata. Demba Jo Gubata. Tilla Hindu Jekuba La Madu Maguso Hivada. Onju Sagula Chamju Gikur Zimba Tane Jide Tanya Lobada Kunzo Zumba Joba Bataros. Corrected Jide Yora, Debare, Zumba Zade. The Jig Dose Yimbajelani Pabado Pabas Lang Demba, Pabal Cars Lang Zumba Wadi. She don't Yora, then you get the hills. She was at this.
So from a worldly perspective, as we said, maybe possibly one could talk a distinction between correct deceptive truth and distorted deceptive truth, because the worldly perspectives do not establish realities through analysis, investigations, anything like that, right? We just talk in a conventional sense, like say, in conventional we can say, well, she's speaking the truth. She's lying, right? So we have worldly sense of truth and deception, lying, isn't it? So in that sense, we can talk about correct deceptive truth and distorted deceptive truth. For example, right, if somebody brings a vase and say, you know what, this is what vase means, and we can say, yeah, you're right. So that's a correct, isn't it? Correct perception. But if somebody brings a vase and say, you know what, here's the pillar, look at it, right? Then that is that's not correct, isn't it? That's distorted. A vase is not a pillar, right? So that's the perspective we take into account, talking about the distinction between correct deceptive truth, Yangdab Kunzo, and distorted deceptive truth, Lokwe Kunzo in Tibetan. So I'm using the Tibetan terms in case you keep track of things, yeah.
What did that? Because Tanyiba Tondo de Badaliana Corjosina. Mugoni don't she go in? Did that? Kaza Dami da Shui Dami Yin. And the Shui Dami Tini Yanjo Yivena. And the Tele Muba Tomba, the Muba Miva Tomba, Rangu Tomba, Hiyu Tomba, those Shia, Nia, Shia. Tanto Gero Davina, and don't you should get Yisaya or did choosing for the end and 3 years. Job did the Nishia so years to know that the dread jury got the end the Jala so Kabayam, Yandapan the Timbiche. Tondo in Baku Duji Chiso Jes, Gavni Shevatar, they are Tondo, the Timber Tondo, you have a Shela, the Yezun, you should Tondo, you Tondo Yida, Tangba the Eugene Tondo, murder, Eugene Timber Tondo Yi. Tangbo Eugene Namrabe Namramabe Tondo Tonji. They say, don't you most of the Toby, Muslim Jitsematabu. Yeba Roy, the Eugene Namrabe Tondo Tonji, the saying, don't you Tonji Toby? Tonji Toby. Jiva Sematabu. You told them lion. You told them murder. You told me. Tangwala Tangbo Tang you number my way told you. Say, you could demit that. menga sujos te da da juru yana teme to da namra to no ya ji yu de yu je ya dire ya ji she o dio ji de yu je to de la en to yu do da to yu zo dire ya gris yu de no to yu kona sha o dire ya gris de ye ju shen ba ji re ka je dang ye ji ma re o dire ya
the Tibetan dam on ko ko again.
Tibetan sa te dawo ju da.
So the Euro ko.
Yuje Tibetan sa na to yi de ji da wa de Tibetan.
Ala lo so.
To yi wo do de la. To do ngo ne zi.
Ala namra ba se de.
Adi.
Ala namra sa lo so.
Tibetan namra do.
Namra sa ngu so. Again taking cause tongba shi shi de ngobu tongba che ngobu meba tongba jan kar sombe.
Ngobu do de jiru da do da ba.
Ma shi shi.
Sa da be shui da ni shi. De ngobu do de shi yo shi shi de liang jie yin de dong yi jiru shi.就这你需要有。
老西的搞什么？我不去，我不买不起。
你看的，我不懂有。
我不懂，我买不懂。
在可是现在需要。
啊，弄什么？
专门。
So now, in terms of categories or types, now we're dealing with ultimate truth or reality, Tandam Temba in Tibetan, Paramartha Satya in Sanskrit. We talk about broadly stated, two types of emptiness or selflessness, right? Selflessness of a person or emptiness of a person, and selflessness of phenomena or emptiness of phenomena. And of course, from Prasangika point of view, selflessnesses or emptinesses are not qualitatively different, just the same. But the difference is in terms of the basis upon which it is established. A person is a different basis than phenomena. So that's how, broadly stated, we have two types of selflessness, right? Selflessness of person and selflessness of phenomena. And so based upon this, now we can further, if we want a little more detail, then we can talk about 4 different types of emptiness. Then from 4, we can then classify into more, like 18 emptinesses, 20 emptinesses, and all of this, right? Because we are looking at different bases, here. So from etymological point of view, Trasheba, that, I know this technical term sometimes kind of throws us off. So Tibetan means literally it means concordant, concordantly ultimate truth sort of thing. What it really refers to is inferential valid cognition of selflessness or emptiness, right? Inferential valid cognition perceives the emptiness through its image, right? Generic image. Whereas the Namtangpa, which is like enumeration type, which really, that's I said, when we translate all these categories, more mind-boggling. But it really means is the direct perception of selflessness or emptiness. Yeah, so we can find from a subjective point of view, from Eugene point of view, so we have non-conceptual direct perception of selflessness. We have inferential perception of selflessness. Yeah.
Okay, Dumba di Geshe Lisa, Geshe Rad, Gozo de Mata, Tozo de Geshe, Gozo de Geshe, you Pavata will Gunzo de Bashe, Jude, Gunzo, look Gunzo Bas, Demo come, Dizzy would Demi so. Young Gunzo the Demi doesn't so the Shena. Yuje Tenzin Dorjee Gunzo Jude. New get on the Jibber Chibi show. Then the Gunzo get somebody is like music, Sheva Chivis. Guna Jibba, give a Juba on the shade so. Then the Zilla Gunzo to Sheva Jahina. Here Zumbala Gunzo the Sheva. Tanyela Gunzo the Sheva. Jashi du Dang. Gunzo ye Jashi du Sum 6 de Sung La Sung so. 오제 치마니네 군도게 자시자 인지 수조로 군도 거 데버 조베 군도 노소메라 나만의 디베스 가도 이조네 데바시베 다도네 수조 군도 이셔는 인지디 뭐 데베 데바시 제버 잠주 세도 데네 라다 돈이래 데데 라인 돈이 데바라시 제지 돈라 데바 돈라 메데바오 제다리양 죽발에 데모라시 제지 군서데 제가 좀 데마나데 군서데 티바티 좀데 해다 랑델레 니모지 마리베 안게 군서에 데바 나바샤고 시에송 데 군서 조시 데제 바데바 인제 수조 군서 바당 강고 데바 조베세 도베 그도 무지 가서 조베 딘지 무슨 이노 뭔가 딘지티 뭐 데바서 이 신체 인제 군서 데바 민저디 추이다 다니 타부 타부스 다 데마세 제단 군도 데마세 딘지고 샤거데 이제 딘지고 데마자 예니 군도 데마레 말이지 다니스나 가제다 민게들어 추이다 가다다 어디서 저거가 딘지고 되게 군도 데마 말와 군도 데마 요거와
Awesome. So this is the etymological explanation of the term deceptive, deceptive truth. Yeah, in Tibetan. First, I think when we go with the Sanskrit terminology, samvritha, Satya, that might give three different senses. The one is the guns of deceptive, something that's deceptive. The other could be conventionality. The other could be false, right? So etymologically, okay, that's not the definitive sense. Okay? Etymologically speaking, that a deceptive truth is so called because it kind of appears as a truth for the truth for the perception of true existence or grasping at true existence from that point of view. That makes sense? But if something appears as truth for that grasping, it does not have to exist in actuality, in reality. Okay? For example, the two objects of negation, right? Self of a person and self of a phenomena, they appear as truth for the grasping perceptions, but they don't exist at all, right? They are the object of negation. Does that make sense? Okay, yeah. And so the word in the Sanskrit word samvritya, it has a sense of obscuration, right? The perception of true existence or grasping true existence, it obscures our mind from seeing the reality as it is. So that's the deception, isn't it? There's the sense of obscuration, right? The samvritya, Kunzab has a sense of obscuration that the grasping at true existence, it obscures our mind from seeing the reality as it is. Okay? So that's why we have a deceptive truth.
동시에 뒤유를 시에네 유진이가 되네 다시 제장 늘 텐조에 로라 색세에 동이나 담바임에 돈을 디니 렘바임에 돈을 시바다 돈도 담바 소소 체니 메세바 유기 때문에 시히든베 도와제니 dashi shede pumbang kaza dashi shedes dashi shede pumbe chunyi tawla tono dembashi chebe juze yode tonga yin tamba yin demba yin be teta chebe shero shero tonga de be tarduk juishi tarduk juishi rishi ki nidong yin be shir tamba yin de niu tarduk yin be shir demba yin de nonzi nidu tebe demba yin de nonzi de nidu tebe miluwa yin be shir was te da tondo debe drashi sayade rongji be shena tonom sayade pape nyamshayi ji sha demba sayade tongye sha nyamshayi ji ngo demba yin sa tondo demba sha dire sha go ris da tenjo shena dire yudu ji ka ma ya she tondong demba sa tonga yin demba yin jiga sha tongyi kono tondo demba sha ris
ale tongyi korang la
tongyi kono la tondo demba
no so
tonda demba yin ka ma ya jiga sha
ale long so Now, from etymological point of view, ultimate truth, Tendam Demba, Paramartha Satya, according to Savatandika Madhyamikans, that something is regarded as ultimate truth, because it stands as a truth for the Arya's wisdom, transcendental being's wisdom, in a state of meditative equipoise on emptiness. That's what I mean. So that Arya's wisdom in the state of meditation, deep meditation, right? So it stands as a truth. So Tendam Temba, the Ten, if we split the Tibetan term Ten and Tamba, right? Ten is the more like the reality or the object. Tamba means ultimate, okay? And what is it? The Ten, the reality refers to the objective reality, emptiness itself, okay? And it's a truth because it's posited from the Arya's wisdom in the state of meditative equipoise on emptiness. Okay? And that's how they talk about that. But in the case of Prasangika Madhyamikas, they do not split up the two terms, the ultimate, it all only means emptiness itself, right? Emptiness is the reality, it is the ultimate, right? That's what the Prasangikas are saying. So we will stop there today. Just checking if I missed anything. We have top-notch two Geshe Phuntsok sitting there, So we welcome your questions. First, yes. Can you give them? You have. Okay. First, we'll go to our invisible Dharma friends online. Could you open the glass door panel so that I can hear you better? And then we'll come back here. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So we have just one question so far, and I'll read exactly what they said, and then maybe we can just interpret it a little bit.
Hopefully, give me a second. Now I have this device here too. Maybe I can. Hopefully, if the TDLs, where is the TDL teaching coming up? Why don't I have a TDL? Okay, there. No, that's drop and link. What is TDL called? GSTDL something? GSTDL. Oh, here. No, that brings the website. I don't want that. Can anyone give me the Facebook link of the TDL so that I can also see the questions are not on Facebook. It's not on the Facebook? Is the question posted on the Facebook too?
It's on Zoom.
Oh, it's on the Zoom.
Zoom question,
okay,
yeah.
Thank you. So I don't have a Zoom here. Yeah. Okay, so is it a big paragraph or?
No,
okay,
not really.
Then yeah. Go ahead.
So they literally say, can you explain what is the definition of the inferential understanding of emptiness?
Sure. Thank you. Why even bother looking here? That was quite straightforward. Again, the Tajeton condition again. Tanda Sheba Seme Topala again. The Tonda Karala again, Sheba Seme get Tola again. Or Digit Session are on us again.
Sheba Seme Tos is the Judean in the Tos, you know, Sheba Seme Tos.
No, sir.
Musu make a Tola,
No, sir.
you make a mother, Judean in Tos, you know, till Sheba Seme Tos.
So the inferential valid cognition, by that what means is that there's a lot of things that we do not perceive directly, isn't it? But we can perceive them or we can understand them through reasoning, right? So based upon reasoning, we are able to infer, right, whatever that truth is or whatever that object is, right? Such an understanding is called inferential understanding. Yeah, that's right. Tuwal again, nothing today la me yoba di takara. Today la liya get to where that me yoba share the right. Yeah, that is the kind of classic example monastic debate we use, right? If they, you know, you see smoke blowing out of behind the mountain, we don't see the fire, right? But based upon seeing the smoke as a reason valid, we can say there must be fire there. So that's the inferential valid perception understanding. Yeah, good. Are there any other? Yeah. Okay, then we go to Losanga here.
This word nominal, it means labeled or named, correct?
Which one?
The word nominal you're using means labeled or named. You use the word nominal over and over and again.
Oh, I see. Yeah. It
means named or labeled.
Oh, I see.
Is that what nominal means?
Dokbatade. Again, Dokbatade said the.
I'm talking about the English.
Oh, yes, nominal means yes.
Labeled or named.
Right. Yes, that works. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's a follow-up to your question about the nominal. Well, elsewhere, isn't it stated, explained as, given as isolate?
Oh, isolate.
Different isolates, not nominally different, but different isolates.
Yeah, some translate that as isolate, right? I thought so, yeah.
Which seems to indicate different perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just a different perspective. Like for example, a pot, the shape of a pot and the color of a pot.
Mm-hmm.
They're different perspectives, right? They're nominally different.
Yes, different perspective. Yeah.
They're different isolates, but they belong to the same pot.
That's right. Yeah.
Isn't that?
Yeah.
That's
That's right. Yeah. I think they translate
something that we can perceive.
Yeah.
So we're talking about different perspective.
If that's the meaning of isolate, yes.
Is what it is? I'm asking the question. Is this the meaning of isolate? Different perspective?
Oh, I don't know in the Tibetan, because that I will translate as a dogba, which come to the nominal again, the same thing, right? Let me ask you, right? Okay, Quran disagrees that dogba says you're again. When a pumbala chasha, pumbala ya pumbagi yip the kato your wage. Just a Jidan pumba correct chejo read your wazar. In a dap konini kagaji shaya your wa. Or the dogba said the konini pa catch it read the cigar scores again.
Dogma says that called because number munda to that. Kita minta pada Tenzin se Michigan na, cik ini kuali yang cik minta senda tu saya yang cik situ senda ini tonda cik mana ini kuali minta hiya del kara dua tadi sih.
Mada ini kan pembe tenda kata ada ye mi deke de ming mara cuko cuma ko tonda orang kagar cagung lagi. Ye ni ye ber kata orang kagar lagi mara ke. Pen ngala ke ngala minga yor wage ngal losa samdela ne tijela ti kan ngal god gor wage didak te ko da ina pumba gi ke khado da yip da labde kala ming kaza ming namdan maro wage di
ming maro de pumba chejo so pumba sa kaja se stare ta de ko yip de pumba se di de yari ko na de sobda de yari in do de yari se 이거 디케죠 해야 돼요.
알아. 그 간지 체제 담만데 될다 독바슬.
독바스 때 간지 코다 저와 용게게 어디를 쉬어 현다 해야 될 거래.
So I think, yes, the Geshe allows this thing in terms of the characteristics, different aspects, right? Relating to the same thing, but it could have many characteristics, right? So that's what we call Dokpa, right? So maybe isolate works there, I think.
Different.
Yeah.
In that sense, there are different perspectives.
Different perspectives.
Yes.
Tada mandal shagrevesa. Dokpa said that Tada mandal is again the.
다다미다 저 말에 그런 제제번에 쪽자들 링보세 바세 이 바 생가세 들 그런 문제 전도와
Right, it's not just a perspective, but there is something there, right, different, isn't it? The table has rectangular, has a leg, right? It's not your just perspective alone, but there is all those characteristics the table has, right? Yeah.
So the distinction between ultimate truth and conventional truth is not because based on the perspective. It's not the perspective. There is actual phenomena.
Okay.
It's not just the perspective, the way of looking at things,
Sure. Okay.
but also there is an actual phenomena.
As the Ladikala Tembani derwage, Kunjo Tembata Tundam Temba said the Tada Mandani Maimba, Korang, we need you, Kunjo Temba second, the Tundam Temba say your was. That's right, yes. It's not just a perspective, the true truth, because right, in actuality, those two things exist, yes. Thank you.
However, the color has nothing to do with it being a pot.
Yeah. Right. Color has nothing to do with the pot.
Nothing to do with it about the color of the pot.
Yeah.
The color of the pot. Right, but it's not a pot. Color is not a pot.
Right. Sure. Color is not a pot. Right. Right. It's a quality characteristic. Right. Yeah. Go ahead. We have some new faces here. Not that I'm just requiring you to ask anything, right? If you would like to, I'm just here to encourage, right? You could ask questions. Or don't feel like I'm new here, right? Anybody can ask questions. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, let me try to be really clear. Thank you both for so much for today's teaching. Okay, I have a question that it comes up with when I'm reading.
Can you put the mic a little closer? Yes.
Yes, I have a question. It comes up when I'm reading different things. Anyway, here it is. It is to do with the definition of a functional thing. Okay, and here's the definition of a functional thing according to the Gomang collected topics. Okay, a functioning thing which is able to perform a function ultimately, and which is an object established from its own side, without being merely imputed by thought consciousness.
No, I think I lost you a lot of things. So you have to say, a functional thing is what? Can you say go slowly? Because that's such a long definition, right?
I'll shorten it.
Okay.
A functional thing, and that my question is about the functional thing.
Okay.
And the definition is,
Yes.
it is something that is able to perform a function ultimately,
Ultimately, yes.
and which is established from its own side.
Established from what?
From its own side.
Oh, from its own side? Yes.
Without being merely
Labeled.
yes.
Okay.
So my question is this: what does it mean to have a function to perform a function ultimately?
Oh, I see.
Okay. What that actually means. That's
Okay. Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Korangi pige gomagi ikje naanchi yosa roage. Ta ngobe chini shamen ro. Ngobe second di ta kara ke tenje ni basa korwa rangi se kaza ta tenje ni basa roage. Kaza tendam da rangi tenje ni basa labesa roa. Tenje ni bala na karla ko resa ke. tenche niba sayadi thonda khala korsa ke ta shijal jana raba ke phumba tenche niba slab sana
shide wasite dan tese wada ko lega jobju shishine towa del tongshi niba si kono lega shige yeso tongshi niba si
so de ta ngobu thamje ta yin ko ro ke la de ta pere ji ko de bo sona ke
kono keshi ngashi ke ya jushi go de tongshi niba si
ale de so ro ta le odi yaksar le So you asked about the meaning of what that which is able to function or perform its function, isn't that right?
To perform a function.
Yeah, to function.
Ultimately.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Okay. Al ten tambar ten chen ne basile ten tamba se kuji kare ars again. Tuyen tambar tuyen cheni bala roba gen. Da di da kasa. Rangi ju chedar. Da tuyen tambar sedar kuji karu so.
tate thong thamba sayade, thong thamba say, gakjal deba jo jaya jo chid, yang une changsang la thong thamba sayade. Tite jia tangi so yang lo ni yung kuro.
Al chidane yang ana tuyen tambar.
thong thamba sayade, une changsang la
chigo
tangi
saure.
sayade yorwa.
Right.
Tanya rong chengi jo thong thamba sayade ya shio.
Right. So he said that ultimate could have, potentially have different meanings, right? Okay, let me first translate the functioning part. That's for your question too, right? Part of it. So functional means, the other way, so that which is capable of, how should I say, producing its next moments, right, of its existence, right? That's the functioning part of it. Now, ultimately, could have potentially two different meanings can think of. One is we can say ultimate in terms of ultimate existence, right? That something exists ultimately, truly, or something interpretation. The another ultimate means, can it do it just in a general sense, isn't it? Right? Ultimate doesn't have the connotation of ultimate existence, but it's more like, does it really do that function, right? Don't we ask that, right? Does it really work that way? So that kind of ultimate sense,
Well, how from that context, how would you determine what ultimate means? Which of those three?
Oh, so I'll say that's a kapdelia tanda turn number turn chain never say tanda the king sumbanana kagi the kelen go work on this haku again. Turn number turn chain never says your wagon. That then we be singing your wagon. Namji the turn number turn chain never said that more goma is a and the turn number the karaku one. I'm joking. The Gangsal Shagu Jimarwa.
thamba sayade, da rong chengi chuba jo
Right. Rang singing to
thong thamba sayade, une changsang la zira da rong chengi chuba si thong.
Rang you be shaded.
아. 응.
But that don't ever look 10 tabalan color.
thong thamba de kaga he, do de thong thamba kaga he. 다다가 너 오면도 동사와라.
맞아. 단말 오면 책임은 되게.
너 오마 시오라. 어디로 시오라.
알아. 너 대별 올 세나 가서 고지 가려.
너 대별로 동사와서 뭐가 동사와 시오라.
뭐 간다 말에 내가 가르고 오게. 뭐 그런 된다 말에.
뭐가서 그런 똑바로 딱선 좀 말. 오늘 정선 좀 그거를
알코올하고 요르스 거로. that was legal. Yeah, because Geshe, of course, we are dealing things from a Prasangika point of view. That's how he answers it, right? So Geshe over there said, maybe you meant it in the way sometimes it's presented in the Shantideva school of thought, right? Because they also use the word ultimate, right? So Geshe is saying that ultimate, from Prasangika point of view, is something that exists intrinsically, right? It doesn't, right? Nothing. Savatandika Madhyamikans would say something intrinsically functions, right? That might work with them. But in the Shantidevas, they say that, functional things do exist. It's not a mental designation, labeling. They do exist. That's what ultimate means in the Shantideva school of thought. Okay? If that's what you're asking, that's what Geshe thought.
All right, I just thought it was.
I know you asked in general, right? Yeah.
No, I thought it meant ultimately.
Ultimate, yeah.
Ultimate
That's why I
as
said the ultimate, depending upon the school of thought. That's what it's
okay.
saying, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
I know you asked about ultimate.
All right, thank you so much. And
Yeah.
just one other thing is
Yeah.
that today you talked about intrinsic existence appears just as it exists. Okay, so is there another term you could use besides appearance that would also mean the same thing? The reason I ask is because you always learn that there is no appearance in emptiness. Ultimately, there are no appearances. But today we talked about, we used the term as, when you were talking about the appearance of is the same as it is perceived as same as it exists.
Oh yeah,
on
when
the
we talk
ultimate
about
level.
ultimate truth,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
It appears
Uh.
as just like it exists. So
Uh-huh.
instead of appears or appearance, can you think of another English term that would mean the same thing?
Apart from appearance, you
Yes, yes. I guess it wouldn't matter if it means the same
mean?
thing, but
Now what English somebody now appearance member. Okay, let me find out the synonyms here. I have the visi thing here, right?
I can do that. I can do that.
I can do the
Okay.
and see. Okay.
It's not ears. Is it ears? Are you talking about eyes now?
No, appear.
Is it connected to the eyes?
Is it connected to the? I don't know because I don't see things on the ultimate
Okay,
level.
the one word that may work is aspect, right? I don't know. Right, aspect. Does that work with you? But there are other words like looks. Looks. That's all it has. You know.
All right, I'll think about it. Thank you
yeah,
so
okay,
much.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. The more the inject again. Now I say your one and the young the more the member sick careers. I think you sing the logo you get the member sick down the door. Yes, yes, yes.
So if emptiness is the ultimate existence, how is the functional reality being formed? And if it comes from the mind, then what is the root of the mind?
Okay, help me here. I heard part of you, but not holding. Can you repeat it slowly?
Yes, if emptiness is the ultimate existence, reality, then where does the functional reality stem from? How is it being made? And if it comes from the mind, then what is the root of the mind in emptiness? How does it?
Are you
is
talking
it
about
being
the ultimate
formed?
reality or conventional reality here?
Like the correlation between the two.
Correlation between the ultimate truth and the conventional truth?
If they
No.
exist like in parallel, then where does the functional reality stem from? If emptiness is devoid of form.
Oh, I see. If everything's emptiness, where does the functionality come from? Is that the question? Okay. Is that how you?
Yeah, but it implies that they exist emptiness and conventional reality said they exist in parallel,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
So based on that.
Okay.
So they're unrelated, they're parallel.
Right. Okay. Okay. So where does the functionality?
Yeah, but that was your question.
Okay.
Maybe they are.
Okay. So okay. So if everything's emptiness, where does the functionality come from? Is that what it is? Okay. Koran kan shwe de dir again. Tanda nga zut temba ni yor wa again. Chwe tamje da tongba ni inas ro again. Ani tanda di tuen che ni ba sa ro again. tuen che ni ba sa ji kan yung go re sa. Tamje tongba yi ba na tuen che ba de kan yung go re sa da.
동방이 있어도 매일 돈을 세고 말이지.
No.
대박 매일 돈 세고 그래.
No.
돈 쓰는 거지 여러.
No. So.
그 동방에서 산 매일 돈.
tuen ni ba de ko me ba ke su go ya ma ro ko na da ro ba.
동방에서 매일 돈 말이지.
Yeah.
대박 매일 돈.
Right. So what Geshe wants to clarify is that when we talk about emptiness, we are not talking about nothingness, right? Nothing exists at all. We are talking about emptiness of intrinsicness or intrinsic existence. And so that kind of emptiness does not invalidate the functionality of things, isn't it? Things do function, isn't it? So the emptiness is not invalidating the functionality of things, right? That's part of it. So if you think of emptiness as nothingness, then that question would be right, where does functionality come from? But the emptiness we are talking about is empty of intrinsicness, reality. So that does not contradict or invalidate the functionality of things. Hopefully that answers. Or you want to think about that? Or you want a follow-up question on that? Okay.
If you use the word dependent
Yeah.
in your answer.
Right. Yeah, emptiness does not invalidate dependent existence or right nature of phenomena. Okay, if that works better, yeah.
Your premise was that emptiness, she said, emptiness is ultimate existence.
Yeah.
So that emptiness is ultimate existence. Is emptiness ultimate existence?
Okay.
Is there such a thing as ultimate existence? Is there anything that exists
yeah.
ultimately?
I will ask that. But when you ask that emptiness ultimately exists, what are you thinking? Asking that question, or because he can come with so many other. So I don't want him to say something he wants to say. I want to know when you say emptiness ultimately exists, what are you thinking about?
I think that I was thinking like in scientific terms when we like look into atoms and quarks and like look underneath everything, there is nothing really that we can find in there. So like that's what I was thinking when I was thinking of emptiness.
Okay, help me here.
Just like she said.
So His Holiness says there's no partless part.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now I'll get back. Yeah. See. So Quran ki tanda ke tongba ni de rowa ke. Di chukme de tongba ni ten tambar ye bada rowa. Tendam temba se cho rowa ke. Di nge chukme resung de rowa ke. Ane di gengi se nana peche cheme rowa. Tongba ni ten tambar yo ma lo rowa ke. Ina tendam temba re la rowa ke. O di ki iyawaji chetuna chikchen ping me ro ke. 동반이 된 담바를 요를 왜서 로하게 된 담바를 요말 왜 있는 동반이 된 담대버려라 로하게 된 담성에 니 레윈도 걸 고주배 가가로 하게 그 막고 청면서 니 세세나나 직선 패면
아시다 동반이 세대 랑유 주베 동반이 이제 동바시로 동다바시도 장라 그런데도 좀 타도 좀 랑유 동바에 대해서 동다바시
so when we let's say if you're thinking of, let's say, emptiness exists ultimately, meaning that is the ultimate nature of things, then that stands as it is. But if you think ultimate in the sense of, we say, intrinsically something exists, then it doesn't, That's the confusing part, isn't it? Like, emptiness is the ultimate truth, right? Ultimate means that's the final reality. If that's the meaning, then that's correct. But if you say ultimate in the sense that, as we say, intrinsically existence, objectively existing from its own side, then it doesn't exist that way. Hopefully that helps a little bit clarify things.
So in short, like nothing exists individually.
Nothing exists on its own, right? Everything is dependent on something else, right? Especially we talk about labeling and things like that,
And also in Buddhism, like there is no root of all things.
Right, things
like
are interconnected, right? Yeah.
There is like no beginning, no end.
Yes. The 최탐절이야 토마열 토마 염어와. 토마 메스라고 쓰고 최탐절 토마 메라고 가져오다.
통마면서 너무 늦으셔서 시에터요 뭐.
Yes, no beginning. Yes.
So if emptiness is the ultimate mode of reality, talking about emptiness as the ultimate mode of reality, as an ultimate reality, okay? Then what does it mean if the emptiness does not invalidate the functionality?
It does not invalidate.
It does not invalidate it. So what does that mean on both the conventional and the ultimate level?
It harmoniously exists. That's what it means.
It harmoniously exists.
Yeah. Right. If emptiness invalidates conventionality, right? Then that's not emptiness we're talking about. Then it's same as nothingness, right? If emptiness invalidates conventionality, it becomes nothingness.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you
it does not nullify. That's the other
yes,
word.
that's what. So Geshe said it does not invalidate. So does that mean that it doesn't invalidate functionality on the ultimate level, or does it mean that it on the conventional level?
In conventional level, yeah.
Okay,
level, yeah.
So what does it mean to have to have a function on the ultimate level? What does that look like?
Okay, let me use this, right? I have a glass. Why talk about vase all the time? Okay. This is a functional cup or a glass, right? Its function is to hold water until I empty it, drinking it, right? But this glass is empty of intrinsic reality, isn't it? But that emptiness does not, nullify the purpose this glass serves, the functionality of this glass. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right, that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
Right.
Somehow I'm thinking about the definition I read was...
but that's a Gomang text, right? You said?
Yes,
Did you say Gomang?
yes.
Okay.
From the sutras.
Sautantrika point of view.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
that's what Dishala thought you did, and it's right.
I just, okay,
Yes.
thanks.
Yeah. Right. Oh, yes, go ahead. Hi.
Following up to what she was
Sure.
asking, what do you mean that there's no beginning?
What do we mean by?
There's no beginning.
Oh, no beginning, you mean? Okay. Thongma Yomar said it on the Karalagoras, okay, Thongma Yomala Chorwa. Thongma Yomala Rwa. The Thongma Yomala, the Tonda Karalagores, or again.
통마스 되잖아. 두두 내대절 쇼르에서 해야 뭐 어디서
얘네게 시질잖아, 약보면.
로기를 가게 다녀 쇼르 시디는 로 니지콘 쇼르에서 이제요 말에.
라래.
근데 매에서 통마요 뭐.
다 가래를 통마 매라고 그러게.
라.
가래를 통마 매라고
통마
그러게.
깨와 있는 통마요 말이 가르치는 통마요 말다 강사가 있는 강사 통마 가셔도 말아.
최탐절로 통마 매라고 그러게.
쇼크지 통마 매에서는 되지.
Yeah, so literally that's what it means. There is no starting point. That's what it means. Beginningless means, right? Like in history, we say, okay, where does this story begin? Then we go back 1,000 years, a million, there is beginning, right? But here when we say beginningless means we cannot find the starting point or the origin of things. I mean, especially when we talk about our mind stream, right? Mind has no beginning. So we cannot say this is the starting point of the mind, you know? That's what it means. Literally we mean that, yeah. Yes, go ahead.
Correctly, so it implies that like there's no Big Bang because like Big Bang depends. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Because Big Bang depends on like something beginning from nothing.
Okay, yeah.
Like something
Okay.
like a spark.
Yeah, I will
so
check
like
with
it
you.
implies that like there wasn't a Big Bang.
Okay,
Basically.
yeah. Quran the ten the word again. Zambuling is cherry be get a share in on the jigden the your wagon. Barge Chambochi, Lord Saya Mangbung and a barge yamming on the Zamlin the Charla Wage. So the one to Thomas Shigo or the Mazet and the Thomas Yom.
두두 니자 쇼르 시고 말아.
Mazigo, what did you say?
두두 쇼르 세고 게시고 두두 잘세 해야 돼.
Madishigo, get Saya Kajo, Lop Sai, Mangu Shiving in Barge, the Chabresta, Dinesh and Shin Jigden the Charla, the one goes to work.
테닐라 지단 개와야 그 로제다야 될 거사 로 동자 초는 지 뭐 다야요 말 쓰기도 봐. 티 다야 다시 거기 다다 메신들 때문에요 쓰고. 요 bom자래 해서 저 책비로 모르겠어. 해도 티 영자직 다 영자 딱지 좀 시는 그래. 다시야 그런 다시 시대죠. 로 동자 somhin가 뭐 다 통을 쓰기도.
No. Can these soon I think the Gerson Jigden Chiraba Ganzuki Toma Yoma Lago Maroga. Jigden Chiraban Zambuling Jigden, there was a Chungsa years ago. But the Zambuling, the Chungaki, and the goat Chishing Maroga, Jigden Dichung, but Zambuling Mango.
This is not that Zambuling.
Chiraba Chetagan goes to such a Shigmar, Toma Yoma Lagai. Jigden Chiraba go Toma Yoma Lagmaro.
다 카시도 요시고다. 근데 아메리카 제가서 디 토마 요로. 또 로지게스 주고다. 그 진짜 연디
But no Zambuling.
그 잠불에서나 페이지에 토마 샤도 뭐다 스스로 롱기 지고지 되지 디디샤 뭐 디디 디렉차스 해야 말로.
아 최저에 마동원에 들랍도 말로게.
네.
최저 마동원에 들랍도 말로다.
스스로 샤르 해야지 뭐 지지지 로드가 신어서 뭐지 해야 말로.
No. Man ngazu zena jishe de lungu jingwa jig tu je chine en zamuli cha lai de thoma sheng mar.
다들 잠불링의 샤 차우차서 디레 샤르세 뭐지 그 미세 디레 세워 두두 디레 샤르세 계속 해요 말.
ene di thoma shag marwa.
샤마데 토마다 잠불링세 다다 디션데 토마샤다 두셔도 샤스지. pen 더보다 지데 샤라도 롱 콜 주 두디 샤르세 주로.
No.
지단 지데 토마요 뭐지로.
Because I'm trying to get clearest answer to the because they are in the Buddhist text. There's something, so I'm reminding him, right? What is those things we are talking about? So that's why, not like I didn't understand what he was saying. It just. No, that's why I'm coming to you, right? This whole conversation is just to answer your question as best as we could. Yeah, we respect your question. So that's the scientific perspective, right? Millions of years ago, there was a big bang, and this is how our world came into being, isn't it? Right? But Geshe is kind of a little bit skeptical about that. He said scientists haven't developed tools to go beyond that. So if they can develop a tool, they might say, well, we got it wrong. We can push another word somewhere, right? So it's like a tentative thing, isn't it? It's a sort of more of assumption and tentative thing with some evidence that it might have started. So in a Buddhist, the text called Treasure of Knowledge, they do talk about how some universe comes to being through the stirring of the wind mandalas, so all of that. So I was asking him, isn't that the beginning what we have? That's why it's a longer conversation here, beyond here. So the things that, if you think about a particular world, maybe we could talk about this beginning, right? Geshe's example is this United States of America. When did this country came into being, right? There's a beginning, you mean? Right? But if you say world in general sort of thing, universe, then it's hard to posit a beginning with the universe, with me. But a particular one, which country started whenever, yeah, we could have a beginning there. So hopefully that partially answers your questions there. Okay.
And there are countless universes.
Yes, we do believe in that, yes.
There's like a certain amount in there.
No, we can say countless, we cannot count, right? How many worlds exist there? That's the complicated thing. So one of those could have a beginning, but in general, we don't have. Yeah.
There's a question here and then one more
sure,
online.
yes, go ahead. Okay, this question and that was the last one, yeah.
Yes, how does a valid inferential cognizer of emptiness, how is this beneficial beyond it leading towards a direct cognizer?
Okay, sure. Quran kan de shwe de this go again. And Tony la mi be cheba sama ge Tony to wa ina sro ge. Tony la mi be cheba sama ge Tony to na sro ge. Ta di ge kale ko Tony ngusum da to ya ge ro ge. Lam ka da ma so thank you di me kwal phen to kare yo re sa ge. Tony lu mi be cheba sama ke wi na. Ta tama de ko ngusum cha ro ro wa. Di da ha ko do sa di me be ge phen yo kare yo re sa Tony lu mi be cheba sama ke wi na. 편도 상바 가려서 그 슈를 무슨 차르고 왜 편도 마도
또 지어서 제가 때 공공고 되는 줄로서서 무슨 시 거기서 나온 거 뭐죠? 야 남지 뭐래 저거.
어디 코랑 하고 그러세요. So Geshe said that itself is a huge benefit, isn't it? You have inferential valid cognition of emptiness, then you keep meditating and you peel off the layers of conceptuality, then you have a direct, right, conception. Then that means now you are on the path, right, to liberation and enlightenment, you know. So that is a huge benefit, right?
Are there any other beyond that? Beyond that. Just in and of itself. In and of itself.
Beyond becoming a non-conceptual, I say. That you don't to be cheba sama de tar musum liya to mother di membegi de shamba de chadre ke yo marwasa ko.
무슨 차자 뭐 얘가 차자 뭐.
Right. That ko lam ko chadro.
제바 세마 매버려 줘. 무슨 우리 제바 세마 매버려 줘 그러. 그 짠면 주고 말.
Taina ko lam tanda ke tholam kolam dus lam ko judu ko. Yeah, because you're right. So once it becomes non-conceptual, direct perception, right? Then you see, as you familiarize more and more with it, this is how it transforms into, right, the path of seeing, the path of meditation, the path of no more learning. So there's a lot of progressions happening, right, until it ends with liberation or enlightenment. Other than that, yeah, there's nothing else. Yeah. Yes, go ahead.
So last question. Someone online asks, and I think you've answered this already, but I'll just go ahead and ask it.
Can we keep the glass wall open? Yeah.
So the person asks, so functions only take place at the conventional level? Question mark.
Is that the question?
That's the question,
okay.
yeah.
Da tanda nganzo tuen che nu manu lai che roba ge. Tuen che nu da manu lai che roba. Di tanye be wong da ma chi she yo ma roba sa tuen da be wong da tong che nu manu she ge ma tanye be wong she go ro sa tuen che nu manu. That's right. When we talk about functionality of things, it's at the conventional level. Yes. Lord Gyeltsen, Udon, Bega de Gesan Pongwe, Judo, Memba, Demba Zinla, Wando Yichube, Tanya Chugun Jul, so the page 5. Mawan Dame, Gunjan Donga, de Gare Jonso, Nienda, Seze, Jamgun Jawa, Niwa Yapse, Danzo, Tinzi, Mabe, Shiba, Tenzin Shebe, Yinguan Zebe, Shije, Nikun Changju, Dendu, Longdo Damju, Bebe, Beyun, Duja Yazu, Gundo, Shabden, Tesan, Gonda, Jezu, Zombe, 用作有人特别那个先龙日的人那个别的现在新下的说。公民在把南大军担当作为偏的作为是轮着居民区别天的街上对接领导下的说解决拉面突击没让街上对接担当上面都抽中突突激动动不接到明白两个轮着说 page 9让家新建公布在把面做到南街金融这么说，做做这些老早他们在大店没些交给我做，突然接到路上叫我也协助电帮人别人，他的对接用给新年做人家公布下的说，今天送给长南边面。代表着我说说他我也南大水电阳大南巴罗上盐田别多小点说推中养人农人养别上周南州上人准备工作行了中州代表代表俺大全部小点这边东岸国外不做的准备这段10月工作准备等等那些给着新年进步下的说改变朗读估计在的准备查查年做让他上边的节日关一些诺说不定新年进步下的台上周郎准备等的节民众大剧上面这拉近真的等着别下吧真的新年进步下的说说叫我世界勤劳的土地他们送面大家拉上大边点边其他轮着说讲究生着人保这马也把能解决这也把年把没国内共同陪我说当年到我人保这马也把能解决也把年把没把国内共同陪我说啥些有些没多长日了那些年的研发的上街行如果难得行了就把说抗日绕边过来新港说平当的我马路中为现在希望电信要做下边4点8度电邮机一旦我入热闹满点了你样大呀面也我更多样大浪漫的这面却也不了乱去萨达兰界原点让着年多些相遇过把牛多肉